Assalamualaikum and a very good day adik to my lovely lecturer Dr. Jayanti and fellow classmate. My name is Mohd Rased bin Mohd Rased, and today I'll be presenting about the influence of dialects on the loss of first language. Sounds interesting, right? So without further ado, let's jump into presentation. So this is my overview that will be our main navigation of my presentation today. This is my main reference that I look up to for further findings and comprehension of the information issue. So, Losing English as a First Language by Roy C. Major explores the phenomenon of language attrition, where individuals who originally spoke English as their first language begin to lose proficiency in it, which is influenced by various reasons. Plus, I'll be shifting the research setting to Malaysia, which mainly circles around the standard Malay language, and the influence of regional dialects. So as how these two definitions are proposed, we can see that language shift occurs when a community gradually stops using their first language, which is standard Malay, in favor of local dialects or any other dominant language due to influences like migration, right? So whereby the language maintenance is the effort to continue using and preserving the first language, which is again standard Malay, across generation to ensure it remains widely spoken and proficiently used despite the influence of local dialects such as Penang, Kedah, Kelantan, and so on. So how are dialects of your own first language capable of contributing to the loss of your own mother tongue? What does it have to do with dialects, right? So language loss is a very broad term which can include complete loss such as language death, loss of proficiency, etc. So these cases like modification of first language are sometimes excluded from the term language loss because speakers may continue to be completely fluent in their first language. However, in another sense, these fluent speakers should be considered cases of language loss because fluency and proficiency are not synonymous at all. So based on what Major quoted in his research, he said one may speak a language fluently but still exhibit forms which deviate substantially from those of native speakers. So since Malaysia is a multilingual country with various Malay dialects such as Kelantanese, Terengganu, Kedahan influencing daily communication, so the main focus of the presentation is mainly to explore how exposure to and use of different Malay dialects influence the attrition of standard Malay as the first language. So these are the factors influencing the dialect-driven attrition, which is the first as standard immersion, and second is workplace dynamic. So a standard immersion will be my key start of the main causes. The constant need to adapt to the local dialects such as Kelantanese, Kedahan, and so on leads to a decline in the ability to use the first language fluently and accurately. Prolonged exposure leads to issues such as forgetting vocabulary, making grammatical errors, and even struggling with complex sentence structures. So, think of a person who moved from a region with standard Malay dialect to another with a whole different dominant dialect. For example, an urban Malay speakers who may start to incorporate the Kelantanese terms and gradually forget some of standard Malay vocabulary. So why is this happening? This is because the prominent differences in terms of vocabulary, grammar, and even language structure may affect the level of proficiency of one's first language. The next point is workplace dynamics. For example, we work in a corporate environment where a different dialect or language is the norm. So when we talk about workplace dynamics, many workplaces, especially in regions with strong local dialects such as Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, influences predominantly use the local dialect for communication among colleagues and even clients. So this daily interaction in the workplace fosters the use and reinforcement of the local dialect, which gradually diminishes the frequency of standard Malay usage, right? And even within the social circles and community gatherings, social interaction within the local communities often revolve around the use of native dialect, be it Kelantan, Kedah, Perak, or even Penang Malay. So yeah, that's all. So these are the effects of the dialect influence, which is the first gradual decline in proficiency, and second is dialectal interference. First off, gradual decline in proficiency. This refers to the observable decrease in an individual's ability to use their first language, which is in this context is standard Malay, fluently and accurately over time. So by the lack of practice and exposure to standard Malay, this contributes to the erosion of vocabulary, syntax, and even fluency in the language. For example, a local speaker who starts to incorporate regional dialect terms and gradually forgets some of the standard Malay vocabulary. Personally, I think this might majorly affect an individual when it comes to professional setting, as they might have been too immersed in one dialect to the point they are no longer capable of generating speech in a professional standard and etiquette, which might, I think, eventually result to the decrement of professionalism and formality. So yeah. My next point is dialectal interference. So exposure to local dialects results in the incorporation of dialect-specific features into the standard Malay, leading to linguistic hybridity. For example, a speaker of Cantonese Malay may incorporate Cantonese vocabulary or pronunciation patterns into their usage of standard Malay. So a speaker from Kelantan might use the word mo or you instead of the standard Malay like awak or kamu. So similarly to the word soja or pronounced as soldier from Northern Malay dialects like Kedah or even Penang might replace the standard Malay word as askar, which also means soldier. So, in order for us to prevent the standard Malay language from losing its authenticity and delicacy of the language, we need to always come up with solutions in mitigating such issue, namely educational initiatives, and next is technological interventions. First off, educational initiatives. For instance, by having bilingual and dialectal educational programs, the implementation of bilingual educational programs that further emphasize proficiency in both standard Malay and local dialects. So the integration of local dialects into the curriculum to ensure the students develop a very strong and robust foundation in their regional language while mastering the standard Malay as well. So we can also include the cultural relevance in education with the incorporation of culturally relevant materials and resources that highlight the linguistic diversity of Malaysia, including literature, music, and folklore in both standard Malay and local dialects. So promotion of language awareness and pride in one's linguistic heritage through educational initiatives and extracurricular activities. So my next point is technological interventions. For example, by creating digital language learning platforms, the development of digital language learning platform and mobile applications that offer very interactive lessons and resources for mastering standard Malay and local dialects. So by this, we may as well leverage the mainstream online platforms such as TikTok, Twitter, and even Instagram, and so in a nutshell, the impact of dialects on the erosion of first language highlights the intricate relationship between language variation and proficiency. So regular exposure to dominant dialects can cause the gradual loss of native language elements, particularly in informal contexts. So recognizing and addressing these factors is very essential for preserving the rich diversity of dialects within the Malay language and maintaining the cultural heritage. So this is the list of references that I look up to in the completion of my findings. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.